Hey there, everyone. So thanks for hanging with us the past couple days. And I'm running this today from my channel, so I'm getting used to all the broadcasting technology and stuff. So it's a good learning experience for me. So if you guys have any concerns about like audio or video, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get them fixed. So Mr. Ali is with me today, and he's probably sick of me after the past 2 weeks we've spent together working in DC and in Miami, where we met with the Crown team. So how are you doing, Mr. Ali?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Allergies are a little bit whacking up. It's that time of season. But it feels good to be home and be knocking out a ton of work, be it for this project with Crown or a number of the other projects that I'm doing. And it was nice. We started out in DC. I was at my right wing stuff, and we were talking to people about Crown. There were a lot of crypto people in town for the A Night for Freedom. Stefan Molyneux's been a big champion of Bitcoin. I think since it was like $38 or something. And Mike Cernovich has been as well. And so, talking to a lot of crypto holders about how they need to diversify their portfolio so that they're holding actual utility tokens and not just these speculation scam coins was good work. And the good thing about these future decentralized platforms is it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, liberal, conservative, gay, bi, straight, Jew, Arab, whatever. Everybody needs to use it, and we need all communities coming together, not shedding their skin, but living the full spectrum of themselves, as I like to say. So DC was fun, and then we did Miami, and that was a lot more relaxing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we heard some incredible stuff out of Miami, but we're gonna get into that in a little bit. But if you guys could go ahead, just hit share. Let's bring everyone in. Make sure that if you are not signed up yet, please go to crownblockchain.com and sign up with your email address so we can start pushing you guys out some exclusive content. That's how you're gonna know as soon as the news hits us. So you need to make sure you go register at crownblockchain.com. And we launched our podcast the other week. We've seen a nice bump in subscribers in place. So you can hear us on iTunes, you can hear us on Google Play, you can hear us on Pocket Casts, almost anywhere. So if there's anywhere you can't hear us, let me know and I'll make it happen. But just go and search for Chaincast, CHAIN, Chaincast on your platform of choice. Hit subscribe. That way it'll automatically download to your phone and you can go ahead and listen to the latest update. So I'm sure that a lot of people in the chat and in the world in general are all wondering what is happening with Bitcoin. So we have had just a crazy, crazy week, and in some ways even crazier than before because a lot of people were waking up and all of a sudden they thought, oh, it's over, the world's ending. And a lot of this was based around news that came out of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. And what exactly happened, at least to the best that everyone can piece together, is the SEC decided to announce that they are going to begin formally regulating exchanges. So the place where you're exchanging out these different tokens, the SEC is going to regulate. They're going to require these exchanges to register with them as companies that trade in securities. So that has caused a lot of those weaker hands, in my opinion, in the market to sort of let go of their holdings because they're afraid that this SEC news is bad. In my opinion, regulation for the network and for cryptocurrency in general really is a good thing, because it means that the government is acknowledging that we're sort of this legitimate entity, and they're going to have to deal with us somehow. So I welcome responsible, and I say that word intentionally, responsible regulation. What do you think about the concept of the SEC regulating exchanges?
I see exchanges as a temporary gateway to either get fiat in or to trade across several different pairs. So, I think that exchanges are kind of a necessary evil, but they don't live up to what Satoshi was trying to build, and that was a trustless system. So I certainly don't trust the SEC, and I don't trust these exchanges all that much. But at least with the exchanges, there's a market force to punish them if they do bad. There is none with the government, because the government has the ultimate form of force. So, I welcome the news in as much as hopefully we're getting to decentralized exchanges. Hopefully we're getting on to a place where, people build their own networks, and things are traded over the counter like the original days. And it is what it is. But I don't want to be regulated, to be honest. But I'm for safe regulations. Wyoming's doing some remarkable work in which they just passed like 5 different bills, and one of them recognized that utility tokens are different than coins, an alternative form of currency. The SEC's already done this. Chuck E. Cheese tokens, putt-putt golf certificates are different than a banknote or a cashier's check or stocks or, bonds. And so, I'm scared, to be honest, that the SEC is going to muddy it, and they might regulate tokens like BAT, the basic attention token. I would be very, very salty, to say the least, if the government came in and took advantage of this confusion or ignorance in the market to sweep all over everything on a blockchain. Everything on a blockchain is not a security. Everything on a blockchain is not a commodity. And in trading value for value, should not all of it should not be regulated by the SEC, or the government might as well stick cameras in our houses and tax us for taking a piss.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how the government continues to grapple with this issue. But I think that at the end of the day, I don't believe that this should be a determining factor in Bitcoin's price. And so what we're just seeing is a lot of those weaker hands. They hear the word government and they hear the word Bitcoin in the same sentence, and they're like, sell, sell, sell. They're going to shut it down, and that's not at all what's happening.
Yeah, it can never happen. I mean, the government can never regulate the blockchain. It can never block the blockchain. If America decided it was worthless, the rest of the world wouldn't. Arguably making Bitcoin more valuable. So, we're stuck with blockchain technology, and we should be thankful for it.
Yes, absolutely, and I do hope that this does drive more traffic to those decentralized exchanges. If you guys remember, we put up a video a couple weeks ago on step-by-step how to use a decentralized exchange for yourself. In this case, BarterDEX, which is one of the larger ones. Go check that out on the YouTube channel if you have any questions.
These are still in their infancy.
Right. Oh yeah.
Decentralized exchanges, nobody's got it down yet, but somebody hopefully will here in the next year or year.
Yeah, and I think that hopefully that increased adoption will spur developers to come up with better solutions for decentralized exchanges, and then they'll continue to improve and be real competitors to these centralized exchanges. So,
yeah.
So anyway, we wanted to talk with you guys about three big catalysts, not Cadillacs, that we have found out about coming out of this Miami meeting, and these are huge things that are happening within the Crown community that are really going to take us to the next level. And I think that's probably a conservative way of putting it. A lot of these have the potential of really skyrocketing this token, skyrocketing this project to new levels. So we want to dive into a couple of those for the next few minutes. The first one is
It should be noted this is not investment advice. We're not doing any of that. We're not speculating on the prices of things. We're simply telling you about the incoming infrastructure for Crown, which we consider an API token. We don't consider it a alternative to fiat currency, but it does have a lot of use and can trade value. And these updates for us, as Daniel and I have been holding for well over a year, were major for us, and we were like, we have to share this with the public. In fact, you guys here on Periscope are getting some of this news before the broader public on March 12th.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the first news that came out of the Crown Conference was we are going to see in the coming months, we're going to see a lot of mainstream media coverage of Crown. And this is something that a lot of crypto projects have kind of been fighting for. And I can't really get into a lot of the details of exactly what's going to happen, but I can tell you that as of now, we are planning to have a segment filmed on Crown that will be seen all over the United States on national networks. And we are really excited about that because this is going to be the perfect vehicle for us to take the technology, break it down so that people can understand it. And I really think that Crown is going to be a name that is at the forefront of a lot of people's minds this summer. So as part of that, we are also having a massive email blast to a huge number of people who have directly expressed interest in blockchain technology. These are not just mass spam emails. These are targeted to people who are interested in blockchain technology. And with their email addresses, we're going to connect with them, and we're going to be explaining Crown to them and introducing the concept and the philosophy behind Crown. And we are just so excited about that because I really believe that this is going to make Crown a popular buzzword in the crypto community for the next year, which really brings us to another one of our major points, and I'll let Mr. Ali handle that one.
Yeah, so we're still going to put community pressure on these exchanges, to and remember, there's exchanges outside the United States to list Crown. As Daniel mentioned, you want marketing part of any project. The more people that are in a project and using the project, the more developers that attracts, the stronger the product is. It's good for use, right? It's good for liquidity. It's good for trading, and it happens to be good for value. And people would speculate appreciation. Likewise, when we spoke to the Crown team and they presented the case of, we can immediately go be listed on this exchange and this exchange and this exchange, but they want this much money and that much money and that much money, and it was so ridiculous. And Crown is such a long-term project. Remember, it's been around since 2014, which is old in the cryptocurrency world. They chose as a core team, and Daniel and I support this decision emphatically, is they're not going to pay millions of dollars in this case, or sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to get listed on these exchanges. And there's just no point on paying an exchange hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to get wild speculators who don't care about the community, don't care about the technology, don't care about the long-term stable value of it going forward. Just have people click buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. We don't want negative volatility. We want value-added volatility. We don't want squashy, swish-washy liquidity. We want liquidity that allows people to get in and out of Bitcoin or fiat in the future, or whatever, with Crown, and transfer that use over to somebody who's using the actual blockchain and the ecosystem. So that's what we want. So we're very proud that they're taking a very prudent, wise, and mature decision in not getting listed at some exchanges, but we're still targeting some other ones. So ones that we're targeting is the ones that our team is specifically targeting is KuCoin. So on Twitter, I want you to bug them every couple of days. KuCoin is KuCoin.com. So KuCoin.com. And this is an exciting exchange. There's a lot of buzz around this exchange. Who knows, what they'll be next year, but they have a strong affiliate and referral program. They have a broad access to the Asian market, some access to the American market. They might be one of the ones that survive for people who don't want to learn about cold storage or hard wallets or any of that other stuff. But we want to bug KuCoin because we know that they're looking at Crown. And, I know the team has seen certainly some of the tweets Daniel and I have put out there. We, 2 weeks ago, lots of tweets, like 100 retweets. We're going to do that again. We're going to keep putting pressure on the KuCoin team because what's important is to show them that there's interest. For those of you guys who are like, I like that Ali and Daniel are updating us every week on Crown and the environment and the blockchain and the implications that may or may not have on the price. Do your own research. But some people need access to an exchange to buy it while we have to use these exchanges. So I want you guys to tweet KuCoin, KuCoin, and say, I want to see CRW on your exchange, on your platform. You can make me a customer. And they have low fees. Coinbase has high fees. We don't need to be on Coinbase. Although we do meet the specifications to get listed on Coinbase, so we might be bugging them in the future. Coinbase wants to list more digital assets and fewer currencies. So, we'll tackle that. Let's tackle one part at a time. But, we want to be on KuCoin. We want to be on KuCoin. If you tag me in that tweet, I'll certainly consider giving you a retweet. But KuCoin, we definitely want you guys to do that. Look out for our tweets. I'll be putting some out this weekend. I put some out this week. But maximum pressure, because marketplaces, at the end of the day, if you go to Walmart and you're like, I want to see this Teletubby doll. And lots of customers say, we want to see this Teletubby doll. Walmart's like, I want that Teletubby doll. And that's what we want to do for Crown. It's overdue for more exposure. We don't want wild speculation, but we want customers to be able to get this awesome technology before all these catalysts come and it passes them by, regardless. And I believe, just flat out, I do believe that Crown, I'd say the day of reckoning is coming when 90% of the altcoins are going to be trash. But the ones that position themselves as tokens, like BAT, the ones that position themselves as API environments, like Blockstack or Crown, the ones that position themselves as better smart contracts like NEO as opposed to Ethereum, they're going to survive because there's use, there's an audience. It's not just wild speculation to make a quick buck. This is developers, customers, publishers, and speculators, and you need all of that in any type of miniature economy. I like what Jay-Z said. We're going to build a society within a society. And so that's what we're doing on exchanges. So tweet KuCoin, CRW, so $CRW. I'm going to say, hey, I may be a potential customer. Get CRW listed and we'll talk. You tell that over to KuCoin. Tell them all these things.
Yeah, and I was thinking the other day, some of these exchanges that are asking millions of dollars, I would hate to be someone who is invested into a project that spent that millions of dollars instead of spending it on development. And then when that day of reckoning comes, you're like, well, this was pointless.
Yeah.
So,
can you imagine being a part of a project?
Oh, man.
Dollars being listed on an exchange. The exchange loses access to the American market. You have to transfer your funds out somewhere. So you eventually have to learn, something. And then they have no Ethereum or Bitcoin to keep the project going. The project turns into one worth zero, and all the founders got out before the users.
Exactly.
It's going to be a sad day when some of that happens, when some of these people are in Verge and these other nasty coins or banker coins. And, it's not going to be a pretty day, but it will make, out of those ashes, we will grow stronger. Bitcoin will grow stronger. A couple of its competitors, like Bitcoin Cash and Ethereum, may also grow stronger. And then there will be things that are around that are used by developers and other projects that are, that their apps are running. And I think Crown is going to be one of them.
Yeah. And and that really leads us into in what, in my opinion, was probably the most exciting for me personally. Maybe it's because I'm a geek, but Crown is pushing out a major update to the wallet. So we've talked a little bit about wallets. We've talked about system nodes and master nodes, and we're gonna in future episodes go in depth into what they actually do on the network. But there is a huge wallet update coming out, and you and I,
March 12th.
Yeah, and you and I remember when they pulled up the shots of the preview of the wallet. I just kind of like gave Ali the eye from the side, and I was like, this is really big, because this is something that competitors that Crown has, that even are much larger projects with larger budgets, have not been able to accomplish.
Yeah, this is exciting, y'all. As somebody who has led design and developer teams, what Crown is about to release on March 12th is a hardware update. So a software update to the Crown wallet. So let's say you don't trust any exchanges and you have access to Crown. So it's on your desktop. You can open up what's called the wallet. It's like a program, and you can keep track of all your Crown there. Well, if you've accumulated a lot of Crown, like Daniel has, like I have, like a lot of people who are very bullish on this project, you can run and you can trap up your money in what's called a master node or a system node. These keep the network running. So think of them like servers, but you need a minimum Crown requirement to run a server. And so the cool thing is we will be the first people in the market. So think 2,000 coins or tokens. And I forgot how many use the Masternode system.
Oh man, there's not a ton, but there's more and more every day. It's hard to keep up with it. Yeah.
But let's say there's 50 to 100. We will be the only people, including the bigger people, our community, Crown community, will be the first one where you can sync up your master node or your system node. Now this is a dual node system. Most have a single node system. You will be able to sync up your node within your wallet. It is absolutely exciting because, as Daniel knows, usually it's just for freaks and geeks. It requires a lot of trial and error, and something goes offline and online, and you got to sync everything up, and you're not going to lose your funds, but it's just the pain sometimes to deal with. We are going to be the first community ever to have this step cut essentially in half, and where you can sync it up with your wallet. So all your funds are in one place. You click, click, click. It's almost like an API, which is what Crown is building. You can say, okay, well, I want this to communicate to this, and then that generates you more Crown. And that's very, 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 very exciting. I'm so bullish on it that I think that the other big guys, I'm not going to mention the bigger player in the field because, I don't want to attract that type of negative energy when we're building something so positive. I think they're going to copy this update. The cool thing about blockchain community and these open source communities is everyone gets to see the code. Everyone gets to see if there's bugs. Everyone gets to kick the tires. People can steal the code. In fact, I want them to. I want them to. I think that Crown Knight, one of the co-founders, was a little like, well, what's to stop them from stealing it? I look back like, no. I want them to steal it. That's how you set standards in any emerging technology. Is if what they did with Netscape, what Mozilla did. I mean, if you want to own the market, you just got to get ahead and stay ahead. And that's the true free market. The true free market is that the biggest champion who can run the fastest is the best. And he'll be the best until there's another person, and he or she will be the best. And they'll take the ball down the field, and that's what progress is. That is true free market progress. So I can't wait for people to steal this update. Even on some projects I'm considering on the future, I added this as that plan because this connects the user and lessens that gap between the geek and the average user. The average user can now spend a day learning and be at that geek level without having to be there. And the exciting part about the blockchain future is that when blockchain's fully mainstream, you won't know that it's there. It will reconcile your bank payments. It will carry your medical records. It'll have an ID system that's local as you participate in social networks if they're still around. And And what's exciting about that is that's what the future is. The future is lowering the technical know-how and the geek level down so that we're all participating in better technology, scalable technology, more secure technology. And so I'm excited about this wallet. And Daniel and I were like rushing, like we got to be the first people to talk about this out loud. Even though the conference was live streamed, we're talking to more people, through this Periscope than that one was, just by virtue of numbers and audience. And March 12th is going to hit. We'll do another Periscope on it. We'll hopefully have some slides, and Daniel will do a how-to video on that. And it's very, very exciting. But that leads us on to one of our community members, good guy, Inigo. It came up with his own service that helps people. Well, it's like I don't want to explain what a masternode is, but you explain the service and why that's good for the community, because we just had a bug happen. We just had a bug happen 2 weeks ago, and that was unfortunate. But it wasn't the community's fault. But it was 40% or something of the servers that helped the Crown network went down for a little flash crash, and it didn't affect the price, but it did affect some of our community governance. It actually cost you and I some money, but that's neither here nor there. What's here is that now we have diversified access to more servers, a broader network, and this is what I've said since day one, since we've been talking about Crown. We need to keep decentralizing. Projects are okay if they're central, so long as they're making transparent and deliberate acts to decentralize. And our friend Inigo offering a service that competes with Node VPS is going to help diversify some of the load, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're going to get into masternodes. We're going to get into all that. So if you don't understand right now, that's okay. Just know that these two big changes that are coming about, this wallet update and the launch of Inigo's site, both enable the average user who doesn't even consider themselves a geek, doesn't consider themselves that understanding of blockchain. The average user, the average investor will be able to make their own investment decisions, make their own decisions on the network in one place, and it's super easy. We've seen it, and it's one window. It's so easy. It'll be super easy for you to walk through, to see where your funds are invested, to set them up in nodes. And the combination of Inigo's site and this wallet update is really going to be powerful for the community. So we're super, super excited about that. And, I would just, and along those lines, encourage you guys to, if this is something that you're really interested in, go ahead and, tweet us your questions, hop in the Mattermost chat, talk with the developers. These guys are completely accessible. No one's anonymous. We were hanging out with them, last weekend, and, feel free to, don't take our word for it. Do your own research. But you'll see this news coming out, and it's big. I've been in crypto since 2013. Ali's been in about that long, maybe a little longer. And
2015, I was a skeptic in 2014. 2015, fully adopted.
He jumped on board, and this is a big deal. So these three catalysts, the wallet update, the exchange news that's coming out, and the TV exposure that we're going to be getting, are all going to be happening in the next couple of months into the summer.
Very exciting.
And it's crazy. It's like, in a lot of ways, it's the perfect storm for any crypto project, because us and the team have been laying the groundwork behind the scenes for years and years and years, building a working product, building something that is reliable, that can be trusted, building legal infrastructure so that we don't run into legal issues down the road like a lot of these projects will in the future. So all of this is coming together, and it's all happening this summer, that it's all starting to really, summer and maybe into the fall, it's all starting to really take shape, and the market's going to pay attention. The free market is going to notice this. They won't have a choice. Right. And the people who follow us, the people who watch these videos, who are educating themselves, who are doing their own research, are going to be the people who come out ahead, because they're going to say...
come to the same conclusion.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And and when this summer, when all this news comes together, it's gonna be very, very exciting. So we're really pumped. I gotta tell
Yeah,
you.
we're really pumped. And what's cool is that we don't have to shill for a coin. We don't have to
Right.
pump and dump. There'll be, and I think people know we dumb down these videos because we're talking to the masses. But the cool thing is we know that a lot of you crypto enthusiasts and investors and developers are also watching this, and you probably wouldn't appreciate that we're talking down, but you guys know what we're talking about. It. We welcome. The cool thing about this is that this is a blockchain project and the API token we believe in. We believe, and I can't wait till we can show you some of the flow chart and the workflow of what this environment will look like when it's completely done. The good thing is that this is a group, a community that is building strategic partnerships. So they're going after use, and that's what I've always said is that this is not a race for the best features or the hottest graphics or my coin's going to solve the water crisis or that. This is an overuse. And if you can attract developers to build apps partially or fully inside of your blockchain, no one can take you down. It's the same reason why Bitcoin cannot go down. Is there will always be people accepting Bitcoin, like me. I don't care what it's at. I don't care if it's at $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. I'm gonna take Bitcoin for my services. And Crown is going to be, I think, in that so long as they can fulfill the roadmap, which they've stayed on, so long as they can keep the strategic partnerships up, which they've done well on, and what we're helping in. And then lastly, the marketing budget has to step up. We've got to start talking to the masses and getting them in Crown and attracting even more talent. Because we've got some good talent. We have some great talent, frankly. We need more talent. We need more eyeballs. We need more people kicking the tires. We need more technology. And so far, these guys have built a sustainable community. Hats off to the core team at Crown. Sustainability is the number one trait I would say that these guys have. Very, very long eyes. And I'm the guy kind of like pushing like faster, 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 because you can be too early, but you can also be too late. And I don't want to see Crown do either one of those things. But they're definitely not too early. Very exciting. We have some interviews coming up with other people from the Crown community, some in the core team, some not. That will be on our podcast. You can check those out by getting our email blast at crownblockchain.com. And, you'll start hearing from us on that thing. But go ahead, pressure KuCoin. Pressure KuCoin. I already took care of that in the deal. And, yeah, I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I think that's about it for today. It's getting a little late for a Friday night for me, at least. I'm like, an 80-year-old man trapped in a 25-year-old's body. But I'm so excited that you guys tuned in. Thank you so much. We are building something incredible. We're so excited about it. We're so excited that you guys are sharing it with us. Again, make sure you do your own research. Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. If you are a crypto person and you're like, these Periscripts are great, but I want to know the dying answer to XYZ about, blockchain tech, ask us, look it up online, talk to the developers in the chat, find the answer for yourself. And, we're not hiding anything. The only stuff we don't tell you guys is stuff that we're not legally allowed to tell you. This is a transparent project and we're building something that is for the community. It's a Big Tent project. So don't be afraid to ask those difficult questions. Again, make sure you register your email at Crown Blockchain. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, go ahead, just hit subscribe, search for Chaincast. It takes 2 minutes and you'll get those episodes automatically downloaded to any device you have. Super easy. And I think that's about it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in.